I got pregnant, while on a trip to Ibiza on ecstasy.
Well, right. Yeah.
Well, that's like literally what just happened to my best friend.
We live in a society where everything from Tylenol to protein bars is based off of a man's biology.
Most people, I think, for some reason, just assume it's the woman's fault that they can't get pregnant.
Why the maternal nutrition just goes out the door as soon as the baby's born.
Baby's prioritized over mom.
Yeah.
People come, they want to see baby. You got to pick your priorities. Smoking
be
weed
drinking.
isn't good for your sperm.
No,
that's what she said
I said
too.
jacuzzi isn't good because they
aren't good for your
kill.
sperm.
Okay. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Pink Print Podcast. We are so excited today. We're sitting down with Rebecca Schwartz-Smith of Mamala Organics. Hi, Rebecca.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So I need to give the listeners a background because we were just talking about this, and maybe we can just kick off the episode with this. But I was standing at Maman after Hot Pilates with Wendy and Mia, and Rebecca came up to us and just started pitching her business to us. And I was like, wait, I love this. I need this energy. I need to be doing this too. And usually I'm not always just telling people about Pink Print, and it's something I need to work on, clearly. And as soon as she started talking to us about Mamala, I was like, wait, I have a podcast. You need to come on the podcast. You need to talk about your business because this is so important, and I'm obsessed with the mission.
Thank you. As I was saying to you before, and I think it's important to talk about again, first, I wasn't just at Maman just going up to random people. Elisa is a dear friend of mine who's the owner of Maman, and she said, you need to come in and we need to invite a bunch of people in and have the opportunity for people to buy and taste test your product. Right now, we're only available direct to consumer, so having that in-person connection is so important. And you guys were the first people to be in Maman that day. It doesn't come naturally for me to just go up to people and tell them what I've been building and what I'm working on. But it's a requirement that you do that. And I think we've gotten so used to kind of doing that in the digital space that there is a certain discomfort doing it IRL, as they say.
Yeah.
But moving towards that discomfort and being comfortable with being uncomfortable is such an essential part of getting the word out. So I'm happy you were so receptive.
Absolutely. So talk to us a little bit about the company. Why did you start it? Where did this come about?
So I'm a mom of two, 4 and 6. And after I had my first, I was back at work very quickly, contending kind of with the full spectrum of postpartum symptoms. What is that? It's hormone regulation and balance. It's immunity, digestion and microbiome health, tissue repair and muscle function, calm energy, sleep, and lactation support. So contending with all of those, got pregnant again, had my second, and really knew that nutrition was the fundamental element that was going to help me move through my postpartum and really be able to properly recover. And I just wasn't able to get in the nutrition that I needed. So I was taking my supplements, but your body can only absorb so much through supplements. So I went out into the market to find a great snack option that could really bridge the gap. I kept facing the reality of 4 p.m. rolling around and looking at a half-eaten bowl of oatmeal or a half-eaten bagel and just knowing that I was exacerbating my symptoms and really just doing myself a disservice. But when I went out to find this great snack option, it was just a lot of balls, bars, and cookies that were focused on lactation support. I loved all of those things, but we're contending with so much more. 2 things are abundantly clear. 1, over 50% of women after the first 3 months are no longer breastfeeding. And 2, 100% of us are contending with these full spectrum of postpartum symptoms. So I wanted to figure out a way to take a food as medicine approach to really take that functional approach to full spectrum recovery. It didn't exist. So that's kind of the genesis of support snacks. Also putting myself in kind of a new situation, I started telling people about what I wanted to build and was introduced through a dietitian just by way of talking to people about what I was hoping to create. Another Miami Beach mom, shout out to Monica. And I said, can we take a food as medicine approach to the full spectrum of postpartum symptoms, as I discussed before? She said, absolutely. And that's how we got the show on the road. And I just kept seeing women on the playground, at the pediatrician's office, on airplanes, reluctantly sipping on their kids' go-go squeeze pouches. I was like, okay, this format makes a lot of sense, but we need it to be an ingredient mix that addresses what our bodies actually need during the decade following childbirth. And it needs to taste great. It needs to have, a more complex, more elevated taste, and it needs to be beautiful also, so that we're really like giving ourselves that moment of respite, that moment that we're actually prioritizing ourselves and taking care of ourselves. So it's a really long-winded way of explaining how Mamala support snacks came into the world.
No, there's so much to unpack here. Yeah. I would say first, the power of conversation, and how we were just saying how you just like started talking to Kat and young girls, and it's like you started talking about what you wanted to do, and the doors will open and you'll find your way. So it's kind of like, don't be afraid to just start having conversations. You never know where it will lead to. But obviously we're not moms yet. And like, it's so funny how so much planning goes into getting pregnant, and then you need to take like the prenatals and this and that. Like, why do you think that there hasn't been a snack like this taking care of the mamas?
Yeah, well, that's a really good question. It is the most intense research stage of a woman's life, prenatal and postpartum. Second to that, now we're learning, is perimenopause and menopause, as women become more and more aware of not only the nutrient depletion that coincides with that, but just what the symptom set looks like. So why haven't more products been invented? I think a lot of people have tried. There's really a lack of funding in the space. So I think that's been one element of it. I think there's been a lot of good ideas, but not a robust investment arm to back them up. And I also think that the approach has been pretty narrow. I think the approach has really been focusing on breastfeeding moms, and that's really important. And you guys haven't arrived at this stage of life yet, but when you are in postpartum and you're trying to breastfeed, it comes easy to some people. To a lot of people, it doesn't come easy. And there's a huge learning curve that isn't often discussed. So when you have women that are struggling to breastfeed, or they're deciding not to breastfeed, and the majority of the conversation in regard to products that are addressing recovery are speaking solely to breastfeeding moms, it's alienating a huge
isolating
portion of the population. It's almost like pouring salt in the wound, because you're already, dealing with kind of the societal pressure around it and your own potential guilt surrounding it. So to that point, narrowly focused, not a lot of funding behind it. This, when I talk about it, like postpartum is an up to 10-year nutrient critical life stage. And so, we're not just talking about like the fourth trimester. So we have we've launched about 4 weeks ago. We have so many women that of older children, women who are prenatal, and women that aren't even moms buying the product, because it is just a great healthy ingredient mix. And, the need state for a product like this is actually, way beyond what you kind of typically think of as postpartum.
I can totally see that. I mean, even we were briefly speaking before this, like even someone who's on the go all the time, I think sometimes, like, let's say our job, real estate, like I'm driving from this property to that property, I need to stop and get food, or I'm eating like a bar, but like maybe if I have something like this, it's healthier. I'm getting way better nutrients than I could have with, I don't know, some protein bar. And I definitely see how that can help just women on the go in general.
And they're 18 months shelf stable. So they are
That's
something that can sit, that can be in your bag. So that's a bonus also.
I just find it so interesting how you say lack of funding is probably one of the reasons why there's not many products like this. And it's just like, there's so many protein bars out there, and so many healthy chocolates or healthy this. And like now even the supplements game is just like growing so much. And it's just like mothers who
I know
are like, it's such a basic part of our being.
But think about it.
And no one thinks about it.
Well, think about it. Most mothers are in scenarios, they're sacrificing everything for their kids, for their family. They're at the bottom of the totem pole. In their own totem pole, they're at the bottom of it. So, when I talk about support snacks and kind of like the full life cycle of support snacks, eventually menstruation through menopause, really addressing, a lifetime of nutrient critical moments for women. So they're at the bottom of their own totem pole. Like when we talk about how we're prioritizing women, we're saying, wait a second. We live in a society where everything from Tylenol to protein bars is based off of a man's biology. We're trying to introduce a product, support snacks. It's great for anyone, right, your kids can eat this. My husband won't stop eating them. I'm like, you need to chill. We need to go back on the production line. You can't keep eating these. These are good for everybody. It's great ingredients. Would you give anybody in your family pomegranate, quinoa sprouts, maitake mushroom? Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Right? We are ushering in a moment in time and a product that is based off of a woman's biology, a woman's actual needs. They're great for everyone, but like we need to take a step back and say, let's create something based off of what a woman needs.
Right.
Absolutely.
So obviously, again, neither of us are moms yet. And I see my friends who are a little bit older who are, and it's like, they are like, their kid is having breakfast and they're like eating scrambled eggs off their plate or this or that. And it seems like very hectic, but I'm wondering like why the maternal nutrition just goes out the door as soon as the baby's born. And I mean that from like a genuine, like curious mind.
Yeah. Well, there's kind of the cultural aspect of it. Baby's prioritized over mom.
Yeah.
People come, they want to see baby. And, we have taken a lot of time to develop practitioner relationships, OBGYNs, pediatricians, lactation consultants, doulas. The first person to really check on mom after you give birth is your child's pediatrician. That was the first person to say, are you okay? How are you taking care of yourself? So, a part of the bigger conversation around Mamala, we called it Mamala because it's not about just taking care of the mothers. It's about providing maternal love. Showing up with support snacks enables you to be a Mamala, you to show up and provide maternal love for somebody in your life. That could be a sister. It could come from a friend. It could come from your brother-in-law. So it's about really a cultural shift, one wherein we are empowering people to provide that maternal love and show up for women in a way that's really tangible. Let's help nourish them. And then on the other side, giving moms the permission to say, you need to prioritize yourself. And even if it's just for a moment in time where you pop this open, you give yourself a moment of serenity and you nourish yourself, you need to do that for yourself and prioritize yourself at least once or twice a day.
I just see like it's how when you're on the plane and you're like, I need to put my oxygen mask on first before even helping your child. It's like, I can't help you if I literally can't breathe.
Right.
So it's like, give me a second. And I'm sure that we're all going to show up as better mothers or, like you said, sister friends if I just have a little bit of, for me, a little bit just to make me feel a little bit better to keep pushing through my day. I want to go back to what you said about the postpartum depletion can last up to 10 years.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy that no one talks about. I mean, I guess everyone's body's different, but
this is
like, do you think doctors are doing a disservice not talking about this? Like, why don't people put more emphasis on this?
Well, it's, OBGYNs very rarely have any nutrition education.
Yeah.
Doctors across
who
the
should
board.
we see?
Dietitians, functional medicine doctors, nutritionists in many cases. Your postpartum doula is going to have a lot of information around how you should be nourishing yourself. And it really, unfortunately, has, the onus has transitioned onto the mother to know all this. And most of us don't have any education around it. I know I didn't. Mm-hmm. I knew that I was falling behind because I was just looking at what I was putting in my body during the day. And I was like, I feel horrible. But there is a huge education gap. And, part of our mission is to do the educating, not to be show and tell, but I will be show and tell.
Yes, please.
So every order comes with this product guide. Yeah, we show how every ingredient functionally supports the symptoms that we're talking about. So, like right now, if you're having a Mamala, which is the purple one right here, and you're looking at hormone regulation and balance, you say, okay, what are the ingredients that actually support that? Reishi, DHA algal oil, maitake, pumpkin seed, which is our protein source, date, sea salt. So even if you buy these and try them and you're like, not for me, you have this and you could say, oh, these are the ingredients I need to incorporate into my diet.
No, this is amazing.
I really love this.
I'm like obsessed with this. It's so cool. Like, it's just crazy that I'm so happy you were the first to think of it, but it's just insane that we're in 2025.
Who knows? There could have been 100 women to think of this. And I was just the only one that had a friend's sister say to me when I was 9 months postpartum with my son, Stanley. I had a conversation with her. She's kind of in the CPG business. And I said, I've had all these people try like V1 of my product and they like it. And, but who am I to do this?
It's always that question.
I was like, who am I? Like, I am a brand builder, but like, I've never done this before. And she said to me, Rebecca, just keep pushing forward until you can't move forward anymore. Shout out to Golly. Because she was the one
Shout
who
out
said
to Golly.
Shout out Golly.
And I never hit the point where I couldn't move forward anymore. And here we are.
I mean, you're making it also like quite literally so digestible.
I know.
for
I
people
always say
to
that, and I'm like, no
see.
pun intended.
Like, pun intended though. Like what people are like intaking. It makes it so easy, and also with all the crap that we see out there and so many ingredients and avoid this and that and what's bad and what's good. It's just like this is really easy for people to understand and take in. Well, let's talk about a few of the different ones. I'd love to have like.
So we have two.
You said we can try them. I'd love to try them on
would love to
here.
try
Okay,
them
so Mama Mind, which is the peach color.
Okay.
Is
Let's do peach.
Yeah. Well, you could try either of them.
No, I'm gonna try both of them.
Okay, so this is tangier.
Okay, love.
Okay.
What's gonna hit your tongue first is pomegranate and blueberry.
Yum.
I love blueberry.
And then you're gonna get kind of like, the rest of the earthier ingredients coming through. And people are really loving Mama Mind chilled. Mama Mellow is very of the moment because it is a little bit of pumpkin spice happening. It's like very fall.
Oh no, maybe I'm gonna
Very
try
fall
that one
coated.
first.
Yes.
No, can we try? I already opened this.
Okay, fine. We'll try that one first. How did you open it? It's just like this?
Yes, just pop it open.
Easy peasy.
It's so funny that I asked you if it was like go-go squeeze, and you literally just were talking about go-go squeeze.
Okay, cheers.
So like definitely that earthiness comes through.
Yeah.
I love
But
this.
what I tell people all the time, I'm like,
I would actually like. I don't want to guzzle this down. I kind of want to have it sip by sip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to enjoy
a lot of
this.
people are telling me that they're having this before their workouts.
Oh,
Wow.
this is
And,
what
like,
I need in my life.
post-workout.
This is what I need.
This is amazing.
This is perfect for before a workout.
And so all of them are really addressing the full spectrum of postpartum symptoms. And then they have additional functional benefits. So Mama Mind is really talking about cognitive benefits. So you have the pomegranate in there, you have the blueberry in there.
It's just yummy.
Amazing.
Tastes like a fruit snack,
love-
but
you
like
have-
a different consistency.
And listen, they taste healthy because they are.
No, but
Like,
they
it's not gonna taste like a
good.
Snickers bar.
Right, obviously. And also, like, I hate when people, like, whatever, businesses create these things and they taste just like fake sugary nonsense. Like
Zero
like
added sugars.
Yeah, like a protein powder. Like, I hate when
Yeah.
they just taste like fake. This tastes like you're eating real food because it is real food, which is amazing. So
Yeah,
this is
so-
Mama Mind. So at what
This is
time
Mama
of the
Mind.
day you think, like, in the morning? This is
Yeah,
probably
this
best.
is like a lot of people are putting this in their body first thing in the morning,
Okay.
running to drop off. This is what they're sucking down ahead of their supplements. That's my use case for it.
Amazing.
Right out the door, this is what I'm having. I'm taking my supplements. I'm coming home. I'm getting ready. I'm making myself eggs, toast, avocado, whatever I'm
if you see
eating
me,
kind
I'm
of
like-
mid-morning.
Get everything
Yeah.
out of it. I'm like,
I'm happy like it.
Amazing.
And then Mama Mellow is really like our sweet treat. And, it has the additional functional benefits of being supporting calm energy. So a lot of people are loving this at night, keeping it by their bedside. A lot of our mamalas are telling me that like when they're doing their 3 a.m. feed, this is what they're keeping next to them because they're like famished.
sounds good.
And despite, the fact
trying
that it has zero added
gonna say,
sugars.
should I try it now?
Yeah, try it now.
Okay, you know what, I'm
It has
hungry.
zero added sugars, but you still get kind of an element of sweetness in it, which kind of like scratches that itch.
oh, this is definitely sweeter. I taste the pumpkin.
No, this is
very different.
Yes, they're
I
very
kind of
different.
like-
And Mama
You have
Live,
different-
which is coming out very soon, is like the first thing that hits your tongue is coconut, pineapple, and mango. So it has that like really bright tropical flavor to it.
Wow.
And then kind of that earthiness comes through afterwards.
I'm obsessed with both of these.
This is dessert.
This
Yeah.
is like pumpkin spice.
It really
everything
is.
you've ever needed this fall. Wow.
Oh my God.
I need to like send this to my friends I lived in Boston for 6 years. Like they're gonna be obsessed with this.
amazing.
Like I'm just thinking about myself having this like with a hot cup of coffee in the
Yes.
fall air. I want to like put this in my coffee.
I just think
We need some fall air.
Yeah.
Usher it in.
Literally.
I need this pre-workout, post-workout, midday. How many of these can I have a day?
We recommend 2 a day.
Okay.
I'm
okay.
obsessed. Okay. Wow.
No, perfect.
Well, I'm happy we did a taste test.
Wait, I'm not even over it. I want to keep talking.
No, it was good. It was good.
Okay, sorry. I feel so bad that the listeners and viewers cannot like try this through the screen. Okay.
MamalaOrganics.com.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay. Wait, can we go back to the name for a 2nd? Like, I love this name. I want you to explain it. I feel like oftentimes we don't explain our name and then people are like, oh, I actually really like that.
Yeah.
So I want to know why you chose this name and the meaning behind it.
So, Mamala is a Yiddish word that translates to little mama.
Love it.
But, it's really, again, it's about providing a maternal love. Like my whole life, my mom always called me Mamala. I called all my friends Mamala, always. And again, like the notion of providing maternal love, it doesn't necessarily need to come from a mother. It can come from a wide variety of people in your life. And I really want this to kind of usher in this cultural shift of showing up for women in a real way, you know, not showing up necessarily with a onesie and can I hold the baby, but like showing up for how can I be there to support this woman going through not only the most nutrient critical life stage, but also a stage that very much challenges your sense of self, your identity. You know, we talk about this concept of matrescence, which is, you know, similar to kind of puberty. Your synapses in your brain are starting to make different connections. You're really moving into an entire new stage. You know, people talk about bouncing back. There is no going back to who you were before you became a mother. For all those reasons, Mamala.
I love that. And I actually really like that you touch upon the concept of like, everyone is always talking about like bouncing back. My body's going to bounce back, blah, blah, blah. Your life will never be the same again. What are you bouncing back to?
Yeah.
Like you just had such a blessing and a miracle in your life. And I'm sure there's so many struggles along the way, but it is like your brand new identity. And I think that's beautiful and people should show up for that. I actually recently saw an influencer post, like her friend just gave birth and what she was doing was like preparing like a whole tray of meals and like bringing that over so that her friend could be like well fed with like healthy foods on hand. And I was like, that's such a better thing to bring
really nice.
than a onesie. And it's like, I literally have brought every new mama onesie. Like that's all it.
Well, you didn't know.
No.
But also for second, it's also different because like first time moms might want the onesie. Second time moms
right.
are like,
True.
I have enough onesies.
Yeah. So talk about the business a little bit. You're obviously a mom. You launched this recently. How are you balancing being a mother, being there for your kids,
Yes.
especially when they're so young, and now pursuing this passion that you have?
Yeah, it's really hard.
I don't doubt that.
Any mom is going to tell you trying to do all the things is hard, whether she's starting her own business or she's staying at home with her kids. You know,
Yep.
It's all hard.
Or what are your tips
Yeah,
to
for
people who are
me,
trying to balance both?
I mean, I need the tips. Write in and tell me the tips. My kids are very involved in what I'm building.
I'm obsessed with
my
that.
daughter, we shared something on the Mamala Instagram because I was on a work trip and I was going through photos on my phone and I stumble across this video and I start playing the video on the plane and tears streaming down my face. My daughter has recorded a video of her pitching Mamala, like
oh, that's
doing
really
the whole thing
cute.
I have
better
the
than
chills.
I've ever been able to do it.
It's really cute.
And you know, I was feeling like with such a heavy heart that I was away for 3 days for us to do the production run and, you know, not being there for my kids and missing bedtime and, you know, all the things. And then seeing this video and the time that I am away is really hard, but they're getting something different. They're getting to see me do this thing and I hope it inspires them and I think they feel really proud. But it's really hard, and it's really hard when you're, especially like you're working from home and you like need to switch between these different kind of versions of yourself. And it's really hard. Tips? I don't know what tips I have. Deep breaths. Take it one moment at a time. Put on your oxygen mask before helping others. But Dr. Becky, okay, this is like Dr. Becky during COVID, before she like really exploded, would send voice notes. I don't know if you guys know who Dr. Becky is. She's like a phenom of
I don't think
of
I do.
parenting.
Tell us. Yeah,
okay,
tell
she's like
us.
an Instagram personality, Dr. Becky Good Inside, and it's like the premise is all kids are good kids, and she's just this incredible therapist. And so during COVID, I had really little ones, but I would DM her questions, and she would send voice notes back.
Wow,
It was
love
like
that.
the coolest thing. And I was
That's
like,
really
"Dr.
sweet.
Becky,
I mean, she took the
oh my
time,
gosh.
yeah.
I was like, Dr. Becky, can you be my therapist? And she was like, you moved to Florida, so I can't be, but I want to connect you with my childhood best friend, Allison. And she's a
Wow.
therapist in Florida. Since
really
then,
nice.
like I've seen Allison. I've sent a million friends to Allison. But what she always talks about is like it's quality over quantity. So if you can like get on the floor with your kids for 30 minutes and have like quality intimate time with them, that's going to be more helpful than, you know, an hour of distracted, frustrated time.
Yeah.
Totally. I mean, I think things that Gio and I think about all the time is like, there's so many conversations about this and so many different opinions. And it's like, okay, like I want to be ready to have kids because like I want to be like slowing down in my career, quote unquote, when that time comes. But we don't always have control over those things. And I also don't want to wait to have kids because I want them. Like, I'm really excited to be a mom. That's one of my number one like goals in life, is to be a mother. So hopefully that happens for me one day. But
It will.
it will. But it is also just like, okay, well, you do have to plan for those things. And like, how did you feel like starting and launching a business at this time? Were you like, oh, it's not the time, I still want to like be with my kids while they're younger? Or like, just how did you come to the conclusion that like it was going to be okay?
I haven't reached it.
Well, I wanted to actually say this. I know that Lauren Bostic can be a controversial person, but
Really?
for some people, but anyway.
Oh, okay. No, yeah.
Yeah. But she talks a lot about this. Like, she has 3 kids. Obviously, she runs a humongous company. And when people ask her about like mom guilt, etc., she's like, I'm so happy that my kids get to like see what I'm building. And they grow up around this drive and this grit. And then I think about that, I'm like, you know what, that is really cool. And when I think about like my mom when she was in her like working era, it's so cool to reflect on now. And I have nothing bad to say about it, you know? And I like, you just turn on mom when you're home and whenever you can, I guess. So you don't have to like, I guess, probably develop these resentful feelings towards your kids if you're like putting your life on pause. So I think you can do both. I'm not
Totally.
a mom, so
And like, I think
know,
women
but
are more like, it's not so much like a resentful feeling that, oh, I had these kids and like now I can't do what I want. No,
Yeah.
I think it's like it's like a resentment to yourself and a guilt that you have
Yeah.
in yourself when you're like, oh, should I be, you know, playing with them in the backyard?
Yeah.
Or, you know,
Working.
doing the things that I have to do to move this company forward. And something to the effect of when all the balls are up in the air, like one will eventually break. So you have to kind of focus on which balls you're going to have in the air at which time. And that's really what it is. What's going to be your, like, something's got to give. You like can't be firing on all engines all the time. So, you know, if you are pursuing a business and like you're also a mom, like those are your focuses. Like the priority isn't going to be going out, you know, to dinner 3 nights a week with friends,
Right.
or, you know, having this packed social schedule. There's just not enough time. So you got to pick your priorities.
Absolutely. So now, what other nutrients do you think that women should incorporate into their diets postpartum, or out of all of these that you've listed, which are the most important, you'd say?
I mean,
From your experience.
Yeah, I think that like when we're talking about kind of this full spectrum of functional ingredients, like the highest on the priority list for me are ingredients that really focus on hormone regulation and balance and microbiome health. You know, 98% of the serotonin in your body is being made in the gut. So there's a huge connection between our emotional well-being and our nutrition. And, you know, so many of us, and particularly me, struggled with postpartum anxiety. It's this like weird thing that I've talked to a lot of women about it. You know, you need to be resting. There's a 5-5-5 rule: 5 days in the bed, 5 days near the bed, 5 days like an arm's length from the bed, something to that effect. And you really need to slow down, but there's an energy and like an anxious energy that kind of, I'm assuming it's our animal instinct that makes us want to get up and go. And it almost feels like you have this superpower. And it's ultimately a disservice to you. And, you know, working with Monica, our dietitian, she was really able to come to the table with science-backed, evidence-based ingredients that really are directly linked to addressing the symptom set that we're talking about. So, you know, it's hard to just narrow it down to a few, but I think looking at the symptom set as a whole and, you know, the full ingredient mix, every single one of these ingredients is essential to your recovery.
That's really nice. I love how she's a woman. You guys have lots of science.
Our kids are the
facts.
exact same age.
Yes. No, it's
and
amazing.
she was a dietitian for the Marlins. She's an adjunct
wow.
professor. She's worked in clinical settings and pediatric units. So she's, you know, where I can be kind of more on the woo-woo side of the spectrum, she's very clinical. So having that balance between the two of us has been very important.
Yeah.
Amazing. Let's talk a little bit about motherhood. We did speak a little bit about, I guess, mom guilt, but let's talk about community and how people step up and how it takes a village.
Oh, yeah. Well, I will say I would not be able to do anything that I am doing without the help of my parents and my in-laws. My in-laws live in Coral Gables. My parents live in Aventura. They step in almost daily to help us.
Wow.
And I wouldn't have it any other way. And it's a big reason why we moved down here. And then our community of friends, having a baby coincides with moving. I can't even tell you how many people I know that ushering in a new baby also is like the time they're moving. And in many of those cases, it's moving cities. So finding community is everything. And it's really hard. When we first moved down here from New York, I really didn't know anybody. A girlfriend from New York said, there's somebody I want to introduce you to. She tells this other person that also, and like drops a pin, and we literally like were one island apart from each other.
Oh, that's so funny.
She became like walking buddy. Our kids are the exact same age. And it's like the beginning of, and she's still one of my closest friends down here to today, but the beginning stages in motherhood, it's really like kind of early dating, meeting all these like women. And you're like, are you going to be my friend? Will I call her back? But once you, and especially when your kids start being in school, you end up finding like a community, and that community is something that I rely on so much right now. I mean, you guys just heard, my neighbor just called me saying that she needed help with pickup today. And that's what you do. You show up for each other.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. Do you think that the community you've built, these friendships, are they your friends that were on the same timing as you? Or is it literally like you met them like a friend of a friend at school and it's kind of like starting from zero? I just think it's interesting.
Well, it ends up being that the people that are like your kids are very close in age, especially in the early days. Those are critical friendships. And I gotta mention, there is a mom's group called Misha, MYSHA. It's kind of like a mom's group for people who don't traditionally join mom's groups. And it's a great access point if you're looking for connection with women that are at the exact same point in their pregnancy journey and postpartum as you. Because in the early days, a month apart can feel like years in terms of developmentally and just like what your kid is going through. So having somebody in the trenches with you is everything. And, people say friendships, it's like a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And I never thought starting over, moving to Miami at this point, that I would make like more lifetime friends. I was like, I made so many of those. And lo and behold, here they are.
Yeah.
I think about that all the time because I've known my friends since we were like my best friends. We've been friends since we were like 10.
But she is the best at keeping friends.
Okay,
That's a talent.
It's a talent. That's why I have to make this known. She's really good at it.
I was born and raised here, and then I left to go to college in Boston. Was there doing school for 4 years, and then I lived there for 2 more years working, and then I moved back. So all my friends that I've had my whole life that never really left, so they're still here. So when I came back, it was like, all my friends are still here, so we're still best friends. But I'm like kind of not. I'm the one who's like the fiance right now. Like now, 2 more are, I guess. Actually, one of them is pregnant, but this was all just a really big situation. She didn't know she was pregnant, so there's just a lot going on right now, and it's beautiful. But really, like me and one other girl just got engaged, and everyone else is like dating or not dating and single. So sometimes I have these kind of like existential crises of like, I'm going to be the one like with a kid, and like I'm not going to have any of my friends around me because they're still dating, and like I don't know.
That's not going to be me.
I still have friends that are still dating.
Yeah.
I'm 36.
Yeah.
I still have friends that haven't found.
But I'm saying like as you got older, like are you still as close to those friends? Is it different? Like you just make more friends?
I stay tight with people for a long, long time.
Yeah.
I'm still friends with, my friends from kindergarten.
Oh my God.
Yeah. There is a place for them.
Yeah.
And then there are going to be people that you are really tracking similarly with these kind of life milestones, and they come into your life, and it's a beautiful surprise. And then you get to introduce all these people, and they end up making new friendships, and it's a beautiful thing. But like, think about your parents and how many kind of different groups of friends they've had over your childhood and up until now. My parents are meeting they moved to Aventura. They're meeting new friends now.
Yeah.
Do you have any postpartum tips to calm the nervous system?
Oh, I have a whole blog post about this.
Oh, okay. Well,
on our blog, Mama Land.
This is why we're asking you.
Yeah.
I actually had a physical therapist and
Really?
an acupuncturist give
Why
me
a
some of
physical
their
therapist?
Oh my God. Well,
Haven't
that
heard
is
that.
just a must-have after childbirth.
Wow. Well, I'm
You
obsessed
need
with
to tell
acupuncture.
everybody this.
No,
Okay.
acupuncture I can see that, but I didn't think physical
therapy.
therapist.
In other countries, specifically pelvic floor therapy, is a required part of your postpartum medical care.
I need you to go off on pelvic floor therapy because I see it all the time, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? I don't understand.
So I'm going to just tell you an anecdote about me.
Yes.
After I had my daughter, Sylvia, I couldn't sit. Like, I physically couldn't sit.
Wow.
I had this crazy tailbone pain.
Coccydynia?
That is it. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Why are you laughing at me?
Because I'm thinking of Claudia.
Have you had this?
No.
You know Claudia Oshry, girl with no job?
Oh, yeah.
She's always talking about her coccydynia.
Claudia,
And she just had a baby.
I sent you Mamala support snacks. I sent you and your sister Mamala support snacks.
She listens to this, but she won't. I listen to her.
Okay, well, one thing I didn't tell you is I spent a decade in PR and comms, launching and supporting the growth of fashion brands.
Well, that's fucking sick.
You probably know some of the brands that I worked with, especially because you're a bride-to-be. I'm sure you know Danielle Frankel.
Yes.
Obviously.
Oh my God, I wore her for my wedding.
Yeah. So did I. So Danielle and I had an agreement. I do her PR. She makes my dress.
Wow.
And I launched her company.
That's sick.
Yeah.
So you launched literally the biggest company
it was amazing.
in America, in the world right now.
I love her designs. Yeah, that's sick.
It's easy
Alice
to
Cooper, everyone knows.
I know. It's easy to
I want to see your
work
dress now.
Oh, my dress is amazing. It's easy to work with a client like Danielle because her work is so incredible. You know,
It really is.
making sure that everybody covered her launch wasn't like a tall ask. Yeah, so, launching Danielle Frankel, I launched Master and Dynamic, the headphone brand. I did, ideated and then did the collaborations with brands like 3x1 and Nike. So I spent over a decade doing that. So when it comes to targeted gifting, that's old news. So I put together a little bit of gifting when we launched, and Claudia and Jackie were part of that. So
That's amazing.
They have them.
They need to talk
see.
about
We'll
that.
see if they need to try it.
I hope so.
You should be a sponsor for the toast.
If I had marketing dollars, I would be.
Well, you will soon. Okay. And then a sponsor for us.
Yeah.
Okay, I love that. So we wanted to talk about how social media kind of glamorizes postpartum with photo shoots and pajamas, and what do you think about this imaging for social media in general?
Well, I think for all the glitz and glamour on social surrounding pregnancy and postpartum, I also think there's a lot of transparent, gory in some cases, showing everything.
Yeah.
I think there's a really good balance of it if you know where to look. I think there's a lot of incredible information. Megan Limondula, she is an amazing postpartum doula that I think is an excellent follow for anyone curious about postpartum care and how we should just be taking care of ourselves. So I think that, again, the algorithm is going to do what it does.
It's going to algorithm.
It's going to algorithm. We, as conscious consumers of social, I think need to direct where we want our attention to be and what kind of information we want to get. So I think we need to have agency in that.
Totally.
Yeah.
So,
Totally.
Look for the raw, real content surrounding what it means to be in postpartum. And that goes for founder content also.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So many people glamorize
Building a business.
Yeah.
I was up till 2 a.m. breaking down our event, and then up at 6 making breakfast for my kids. There was nothing glamorous. The time in between when we did the actual event was glamorous.
Yeah.
But the setup and the breakdown and everything that goes into it. The no's from investors, the 1,000 revisions on the deck. All of those things. They are very exhausting, and but also kind of a beautiful mess because
Absolutely.
But you got to look for the honesty.
Give us, what's your pre-pregnancy starter pack?
Ooh,
I'd
this
like
is
to
good.
know during pregnancy, now looking back, what's a starter pack? What are your essentials? And then just finish off on the postpartum. You said acupuncture, physical
we
therapy.
have to go back to that.
Yeah. But let's do it. We can do it in order.
yeah.
Pre, during, post.
So before I have gotten pregnant both times, one non-negotiable for me is 6 months before starting to try, I start acupuncture. So
I love
All right, I'll be starting in 6 months.
Yeah. I had an acupuncturist tell me she was getting me juicy.
Oh.
Which might disgust some people, but
No, I love it.
Whoa.
it really boosting your chances of fertility. So making sure that your period's really regular, that you're having a strong period, that you're not having a lot of period side effects. So that's what I did both times. And I was able to get pregnant, our first go around both times. And I really attribute it to that. Starting prenatal supplements 6 months before getting pregnant, great nutrition, good physical activity. For me personally, pregnancy comes with a lot of anxiety, wondering, is the baby okay? When you've already had a child, how is this baby going to integrate in the family? All the dynamics, the financial implications of having a baby. There's so much that you're thinking about. Honestly, like when I'm pregnant, I need like my husband to like hold me before I go to bed, because historically that's like my mind races. I think I have better coping mechanisms if and when I have a third. I think I'll be better positioned mentally, physically, emotionally. But having a plan, a lot of women struggle with intrusive thoughts.
Me.
Yeah. So, having a real plan around that, whether, you're seeing a therapist and doing cognitive behavioral therapy, or, whatever kind of your
therapy,
taking care of yourself is, having a plan.
Okay. Love beautiful. That. And during pregnancy?
Same things.
Same things.
Same things during pregnancy.
And then post, just to finish, it was physical therapy, acupuncture,
So
anything
else? I didn't even tell you about the rest of the physical therapy. So I couldn't sit. And I went to like the top physical therapists in New York City. I had somebody like literally having to massage my tailbone inside my butt. It was like, it was crazy things.
I'm like, I was getting Larry now.
Massage. I was like, that sounds good. And then she's like, in my butt. I was like,
no, it wasn't good. And I was breastfeeding, so I couldn't get the injections they were recommending me. And I'm happy that I didn't, because we ended up moving down here. And the relief that I would get from this would be like a day, and then it would go back to. So we moved down here. I tell my new friend, the girl that pin was dropped, I tell her like what I'm dealing with. And she says, my mom has an incredible physical therapist on Sunset Harbor. You should go check her out. Her name's Lindsay Himmel. So I went. I couldn't even see Lindsay in person because it's COVID. So I like see her on Zoom.
Oh wow.
She does like a full analysis over Zoom. She starts giving me these exercises. Immediate relief.
Wow.
She cured me over Zoom. She's also an incredible Pilates
crazy.
Instructor. So then when we started seeing each other in person, and then I saw her all through my second pregnancy, she literally cured me. We can link to her in the show notes because she sees people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
She's an incredible physical therapist, but everybody should be doing pelvic floor therapy. Also painless pregnancy. They do at-home service, and I'm partnered with them. And they service all of South Florida from Broward south, and they have incredible practitioners also.
What is that? Painless pregnancy?
It's another PT kind of service,
okay,
and
gotcha.
it's painless pregnancy, and then they have a bunch of practitioners that can come see you in your home.
They got so many resources.
Yeah, and then in terms of like what we can do, like we talk about meditation, we talk about like weighted blankets. I would say therapy. And then we just did like a slideshow on Instagram of like what women actually need in postpartum. And one of the things in the slideshow is kind of an on-demand friend. Like, who's that person that is always making you lol? It's like so many belly laughs. Have that person available to you, because in those moments you need someone that can come and not remind you who you were or who you are, but can bring some like light to the moment when sometimes it feels overwhelming.
Yeah,
that's really nice.
I love that. I actually had two kind of random questions. It was from our starter pack. You were talking about all the things the women need to do, and then her and I were in convo, and she was telling me that the men should also be doing these things.
Oh yeah,
like
prenatal.
Talk to like, what should the men be doing?
Yeah.
Because I was like, nah, that's not, they don't need to do that.
Okay.
But then I was like, maybe they do.
There's a wide range. Like you hear people all the time, I got pregnant, while on a trip to Ibiza on ecstasy.
Well,
like,
Yeah. Well, that's like literally what just happened to my best friend. Oh. She was like at a wedding in Portugal, like drinking, probably doing crazy things. I don't know. And then she was like, oh, fuck, I'm 4 months pregnant.
Oh my God. Well, but like you hear these stories and like baby's healthy and everything's great.
She's
and
great.
Like,
everything's perfect.
But if we are planning and we are like consciously making good decisions, there is a company called WeNatal, and the founders are unbelievable, and they make prenatal for you and your partner, so that the men can be taking a supplement also. Like,
That's good.
if and when I have another baby, I'll have my husband take that supplement. And there are a lot of things you could do nutritionally to just have the best sperm you can possibly have.
Right.
Should they not be drinking also?
Ideally, no. It's not
I've
good
seen
for
that
your
it's
sperm.
better for them not to
Smoking
be
weed
drinking.
isn't good for your sperm.
No,
That's what she said.
I said
too.
jacuzzi isn't good because
Jacuzzis
they
aren't good for your
kill
sperm.
lots
Yeah.
of sperm.
Like cycling. My husband's a cyclist. I'm like, get out of those tight, those tight outfits and like crushing your nuts.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're crushing my babies. That's what I tell my husband. I'm like, don't leave your phone next
I
to
say
them.
it
I'm
all
like,
the
you're killing my
time.
babies.
I say it all the time. And my
Yeah.
husband has 2 phones because of work. And I'm like,
No.
get them out of your pockets.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Listen to us the other day. We were talking about how annoyed we were that they have NFL Red Zone on the TV, which is 4
yeah.
games. Then they
It's
have
so crazy.
the laptop on their lap playing something else, and then they're on reels on their phone. And I'm like,
It's not, it's not healthy.
turn all
No.
this shit off.
It's so
Yeah.
much incoming.
It's so much.
And the blue light, and it's nighttime, and I'm like, I'm going to the other
They
room.
need to
Goodbye.
get on their wellness journey.
Yeah.
They won't.
They're just 26-year-old boys.
I can't believe they're 26 and they're
Oh, yeah.
married and engaged.
20
That's,
yeah.
I mean, in Miami, that's kind of unheard
Yeah.
of.
My man's isn't from here.
Okay.
Hers is though.
Mine is, he's very calm.
He's way calmer
Yeah.
than my man's.
Okay. Yeah, he's chill.
We attribute that to Taurus versus Leo, but it's fine.
Both my kids are Leos.
Well, my fiance's a Leo, so they're great.
You guys got more going on. But anyways, back to the men also kind of, if you're going to
Preparing.
plan, they could help prepare themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, a lot of women contending with infertility don't make testing sperm as a first stop, and they absolutely should.
Yeah, never. I don't even ever think about that.
I don't think it's like most people, I think for some reason, just assume it's the woman's fault that they can't get pregnant.
for sure. For sure.
When I haven't obviously even started trying, but they're just like, what's wrong with me? Like, I'm the one who's supposed to be making a baby. There's something wrong with
first
me.
things first, test the sperm. And also,
But it's-
in kind of to the earlier point of like talk to whoever you can talk to, I spoke with a doctor in Connecticut who has worked with this Argentinian doctor, and they have these at-home vaginal microbiome tests, and just the vaginal microbiome being off can be a factor in infertility. So, a lot of friends that I talk to that are, have been trying for a few months and aren't pregnant yet, I always send them a link to this at-home testing kit because it could be just as simple as, addressing this imbalance.
Right.
Yeah.
Where do you see Mamala Organics in 5 years?
Well, if we're looking at my P&L, we're a $50 million in revenue company, and we have really launched our full suite of products, which is support snacks for menstruation through menopause.
Incredible.
I'm obsessed.
Supporting the women all throughout their journey.
And it's interesting because, even in this small kind of initial beta run that we've done, just the wide breadth of customers that we have. I know we spoke to it earlier, but we have women that don't have kids. We have
Right.
college age students ordering these
You're
as
gonna
snacks
have
for
me.
themselves. We have you.
Yeah, me.
We have women with kids, 10, 11, 12 years old that are at soccer games all
Right.
weekend on the sidelines. And
Oh my
like this
God,
is what
yeah.
they're using as, their support snack to make sure that they're nourished. So in terms of like a case study, like this is like proving every single, thesis we had about where this could fit into a woman's life. It's all like coming to fruition. So it's just what we want to see to ensure that we're making the best pet moving forward.
Amazing. We're going to do a little quick rapid fire.
Okay.
To finish this off. So fill in the blank. Motherhood is
A journey.
a journey.
One postpartum product you think is a scam?
Oh, that's a good one. Okay, this isn't a scam, but I was told to like make all these like witch hazel pads and put them in the freezer, which I did. I made like 50 of them and put them in the freezer.
Oh my God.
But now like Frida has it all figured out and it's like all pre-made. So
But what was that
just
for?
do that. Oh,
It's for your
vagina.
nipples?
It's for your
for your vagina.
Yeah.
How do you know that?
Bro, I know too much. I listen to all the podcasts.
Yeah, so like so many amazing companies have taken a lot of work out of like all this like prep. Focus if you're gonna spend time prepping, focus on prepping freezer meals.
Cool.
Yeah. No, I see so many women like doing their bag for the hospital and they
Yeah.
bring like a quadrillion things and they end up using like 3.
Okay, this is another thing. You literally need nothing. I'm pretty superstitious, so I didn't buy anything before I had Sylvia. Like we didn't have anything.
Wow.
So I really we live in such a culture of consumption.
Ugh,
You
tell
really do
me
not
about
need
it.
much. Baby needs you, some onesies, some diapers. Like, that's
Meals.
it. Yeah, that's it. Like, you need things for yourself, but like
Yeah.
you really don't need much for the baby. So, I know it looks like there's just all these beautiful things that you want to
So
buy.
many.
Like, try not to get so caught up in it.
They're like the wipe warmer, the this, the that.
Well,
which
wipe
I'm
warmers
sure-
actually are essential.
I was
Because
gonna
you
say,
don't
I
want a
heard
cold wipe
good
on
things
your ass.
about that.
No.
Okay, one thing you wish moms would stop doing.
I mean, I wish I would stop doing this, guilting myself.
Yeah.
All day, every day.
A wellness trend you secretly think is useless.
I'm like kind of all in on most of them.
Cool. Me too.
I don't know. What are some crazy ones out there right now?
Or let's switch it. A wellness trend you think is incredible,
Oh, sauna.
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
I love sauna.
but not for your husband.
And not when
for
you're
the
pregnant.
sperm. Yeah. What's more important for survival? Sleep, snacks, or sanity?
Sleep.
Sleep.
And, sleep deprivation is a torture tactic for a reason. It's a real thing.
Literally.
Yeah.
And like, if you're not sleeping, you're also not eating because you're just in zombie mode. So you're totally unable to nourish yourself. And without sleep, you are not sane. So
Yeah.
if you are calling in any favors in postpartum, make sure it's the favor that somebody can be with your baby so that you can get sleep in when you can.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think you just answered our next question, which was unfiltered advice you'd give to a new mom running on 3 hours of sleep.
Yeah, that's it.
Call in help.
Call in
and go to
help.
sleep.
Yeah, go whenever you can get sleep in, do that. And nourish yourself because, the baseline of your well-being is your nutrition, like full stop.
If you could rewrite the super mom stereotype with one word, what would it be?
Serenity.
I love that.
That's nice.
What's one thing you wish people actually told you about postpartum?
That it is all encompassing on every level. We've talked about mentally, physically, and emotionally. It is all of those things and more. It is every emotion you've ever felt on steroids. It is the hardest thing and most beautiful thing. It's the entire human experience wrapped up in these moments with this tiny human that you've literally made.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Incredible.
Last one, fun one. Which one's harder to live without? Coffee, snacks, or silence?
Coffee, sex, or silence?
Snacks, but sex too.
Okay, well, I've gone off coffee lots of times. I could totally live without coffee. Yes, snacks.
Yes.
Silence, it just like comes and goes.
Yeah. No, amazing. Wow. I think we hit like a lot of different points here about the business, pregnancy, postpartum, obviously Mamala, which I'm really excited to buy some. But so yes, give us a code for the listeners so we can start.
Yeah, we'll make a special
sharing
code.
that.
It can be
Pink.
imprint 10.
Print 10. Amazing.
We'll make that. And what I was saying before is that we have a gift note option. So a lot of people have been putting Mamala support snacks on their registry. A lot of people have been sending them as gifts. We like to say, be a Mamala and send a Mamala.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Rebecca, pimp everything out. Pimp yourself out. Pimp Mamala out. Where can everybody find you?
okay.
Where can we buy everything?
Mamala_organics is where we are on Instagram. I'm reb.schwartz.smith on Instagram. MamalaOrganics.com if you want to buy product. Find me on Miami Beach.
Yes.
Yeah.
At Maman in Sunset Harbor.
I'm on Sunset Harbor.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Rebecca, thank you so
Thank
much.
you
I'm
for
so
having
excited
me.
for the world to try this because it's unbelievable. It
Thank
speaks
you.
for itself.
I think this
Can't
was a
wait to hear
really-
what everybody thinks.
No, this was incredible. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. Ciao.
Thank
Bye.
you. Ciao. Bye.